Hello everyone. In this session, we are going to discuss about pathogenic nematodes. As you know, nematodes are everywhere. There are hundreds and thousands of nematodes all across the world. Many are free living, but some are parasitic, some are even pathogenic. In today's session, we are going to discuss about the pathogenic nematodes that infest or that causes diseases in human beings. So let's jump in. Now today we are going to discuss about Wuchereria bancrofti. It is also known as Bancroft's worm or filarial worm. Now as you know, these organisms are nematodes and they have sexual dimorphism. Now, if you see, the males and females the adult males and females are different in their morphology, and the major differences is the size difference. The males are, as you can see in the slide, smaller and uh, less wider. On the other hand, the females are longer and thicker. They have, as usual, the females have ovaries, the males have got testes. Other than that, there is a striking difference in the shape. Females have got straight posterior end. On the other hand, the males have got a curved posterior end. The males also have uh, copulatory hooks at the posterior end, whereas the females do not have such structures. Uh, the females have gonopore and also the genital pore, that is the vulva. So that's about the male and female. Next slide you will see the actual microscopic photograph of the male and female filarial worms. Now here you can see these are the actual microscopic photographs of the male and the female. The male is on the left hand side and the female on the right hand side. You can actually uh, make can understand the size differences between the two. Now coming to the life cycle of this worm. As you know that this disease or this parasite has got two hosts. One is mosquito and the other is human beings. So that means it makes it a digenetic parasite, right? Now most often the insect that carries it is a mosquito, and usually it's a Culex mosquito. The Culex mosquitoes are the primary vectors of this filarial disease or the filarial worm. Now we'll start off with how the life cycle starts. Now we'll start with an infected mosquito which has got the filarial worms or the infective worms or infective L3 larvae in them. When they have their blood meal on a human being, these these filarial worms or the infective worms are deposited on the skin. These microfilarial worms enter into the bloodstream through that wound that was made by the mosquito, and they migrate to the lymphatic ducts or the lymphatic system. Once in the lymphatic system, they become adults or they mature into males and females. Once they mature, they reproduce sexually to produce larvae called microfilariae. These microfilariae are usually sheathed and they remain within the deep veins of or their blood, but they show periodic or nocturnal periodicity in which during the night time they will migrate to the peripheral blood vessels so that they can be picked up by the mosquito vector. So these microfilariae um, which are sheathed come to the surface or the peripheral bloodstream from where they are picked up by the mosquito. Once inside the mosquito, they then penetrate the mosquito's midgut and migrate into the thoracic muscles. Once in the thoracic muscles, they undergo certain changes and they pass through various stages like L1 larvae, L2 larvae, and then finally they reach the stage of L3 larvae. Once they reach that stage, they then migrate into the head and thoracic structures or the mosquito's proboscis. So the L3 larvae migrate to the head and mosquito's proboscis, and they are the ones which are the infective larvae of in the mosquitoes. Now this mosquito, when it bites a human being uh, during a blood meal, these larvae are deposited on the skin, and they these larvae migrate into the bloodstream and into the lymphatic system, and this process repeats and the life cycle is complete. So this is how the life cycle of the larvae happens or completes. Now next I will show you the diseases that are uh, caused by the filariae or the Wuchereria bancropti. The name of the disease is elephantiasis. And the reason for this disease is that, as you have seen in the life cycle of the life cycle of the filarial worm, there are tiny larvae that are produced by the adult worms called microfilariae. Now, what these microfilariae do is that when they are in the lymphatic system, some of these microfilariae can clog the lymph nodes. Now, once the lymph nodes are clogged, it blocks the free movement of lymphatic fluid. Now, if there is a blockage in the lymphatic fluid, the blood which brings or takes the fluid to the tissues, the fluid that uh, is released from there is unable to get back into the bloodstream, back into the heart. So as a result, the fluid accumulation occurs especially in the extremities like the legs or even um, the upper arms, breasts, or even testes. In males, there is um, a condition called hydrocele, which is enlargement of the testis due to the accumulation of fluid in the scrotum. Now, other than the enlargement of the extremities, it also causes hardening of the skin. The reason why hardening of the skin happens is because whenever there is a blockage in the lymphatic system, uh, the immune system also becomes compromised, because you might have known that the lymphatic system plays an important role in the immune system as well. So as a result, the immune system is not able to properly function. When the immune system is not able to function properly, these uh, people are more predisposed to bacterial infections, especially in the skin. Such type of bacterial infections cause hardening of the skin. So the two uh, things that happen in uh, elephantiasis is enlargement of the extremities due to accumulation of fluid, and that is called edema. Plus, there is hardening of the skin, and that is the reason why it is called elephantiasis, or this type of filarial disease or filariasis is also known as elephantiasis. Now, how to diagnose this disease? Uh, there are two ways by which this disease can be diagnosed. One is to see the peripheral blood smear. That is, if we take the blood smear and see it under microscope after staining it, we should be able to see the microfilariae or the microfilarial larvae. Now, but this microfilarial larvae, as you know, from the life cycle, is not always present in the peripheral bloodstream. The blood has to be drawn or has to be sampled during the night time, because it is during the night time that this microfilariae come to the peripheral bloodstream. So taking a peripheral blood smear during night, or during the collection of that blood during night, uh, will help you to identify the microfilariae if they are present in the blood. Another test is the serological test, in which the serum is sampled or serum is taken, and we test it for presence of antibodies in them, which are made against these nematodes. Uh, the major antibodies produced against these nematodes are immunoglobulin E's. So specific type of immunoglobulin E's, if they are present in the blood serum, it is an indication of the Wuchereria bancrofti. So there are two diagnostic measures or ways. One is the peripheral blood smear, and the second one is the serological test. Now there are additional videos that I would recommend you to see, and one of them is a very interesting video that I would like to share with you. Um, that is an ultrasonography of the lymphatic ducts in the testicular region, showing a characteristic feature of the adult filarial worms, and it is called filarial dance. Let's jump into that. So to summarize uh, about the filaria, that is Wuchereria bancrofti, the important aspects to note is number one, the morphological differences between the males and the females. Number two is about the life cycle of the uh, Wuchereria bancrofti, taking into consideration that there are two hosts for this uh, nematode. One is the human and another is the mosquito. And the third is the disease that it causes and the reason for the disease, that is the elephantiasis. You have to remember the cause of this disease, that is involving the lymphatic system and the problems that this worm causes in the lymphatics of the human beings, resulting in elephantiasis. Most often, uh, people who carry microfilaria or who are infected rarely show any symptoms for many years, or they do not show symptoms at all. It's very few people who actually show the symptoms of filariasis, and may also result in elephantiasis. So not all people show the symptoms. The third aspect is the diagnosis of the Wuchereria, and that is uh, there are two tests. One is the blood smear test, and the other is the serological test. So we will be back uh, in another session about another parasitic nematode. So till then, have a nice day.